This is one of the terrorists. Huh? Merle's own brother.
What should we do with them, huh?
What?
Hey Zedheads, welcome to our podcast. I'm Jason.
And I'm Karen.
And I'm Danny Miller.
And this is the Walking Dead cast episode 83. It's our last podcast until the next season. Not forever. And I just wanted to introduce Danny Miller. You guys might have remembered Danny was on last year, probably around this time. But thanks for coming back on, Danny.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So Danny's an amazing artist, and he last year and again this year worked, well, I'm going to ask you exactly what you did this year, but last year I know you worked pretty closely with some of the Walking Dead crew to create these really amazing depictions of some of the iconic zombies from season 2. So, and they're beautifully made. You sent us a few copies and they're on this really thick stock. And we, had one up on our wall here for about a year as we were doing the podcast, and it was great.
Yeah, they're gorgeous.
Yeah, they look good framed too.
So what this year, was the process much different?
It was still pretty much the same. Still working with Greg Nicotero. And we've gotten pretty good at, working together. By this time, the first 3 that we did, we were figuring it out and seeing, what worked and what didn't work. So this one was, I would say, harder though, because the second series that we're releasing are 2 of the main characters that get turned into zombies. So it was a lot more pressure because you are also, the audience or the people that are looking at the posters know who the actors, what they look like without the makeup. So it was hard, but Greg and I, we've got a pretty good rapport, and it's weird, we're always kind of on the same page. When I come up with the color scheme, he's like, exactly, let's do it. So, and it's fun now. I mean, it's a dream of mine to be able to, draw zombies and get paid for it. that last part's the most important part.
Yeah.
You're 13 drawing zombies in your room. You don't care about the paycheck, but now it's like, ooh, and I get a paycheck? Yay.
So what's better? Because I know that you also were a zombie extra for a little bit there, and I'm assuming you got paid for that too. So what's better, drawing the zombies and getting paid for it, or being a zombie and getting paid for it?
I would say, because I would have done the being a zombie part for free. And in fact, if they would have been like, you owe us money, I'd have been like, well, how much?
Yeah,
Totally.
we agree.
I think drawing the zombies and getting paid for it, that's just cool. It's I kind of feel like I've arrived, and when you're doing artwork, there's ups and downs, the struggling part, having to draw stuff you don't like to draw. And I grew up on horror movies, was raised by horror movies and comic books, so this is a dream come true. And to work for a hero of mine. I knew about Greg as a kid reading Fangoria magazine. And so just working with him, just, having his ideas, come to me and say like, draw this, change this. That's just cool. So, but being a zombie was pretty badass.
What did you look like as a zombie? Would they make you up as?
Well, it was cool because we made it kind of like a business trip. We were dropping off the prints for Greg to sign. And then, of course, I have 2 knucklehead brothers. So me and my oldest brother, we look like zombie versions of ourselves.
You know what would be cool? If you went out there and they made you up, and then you got to draw yourself.
Well, that's what I said. Well, Greg and I were already talking about, like, who's the next zombie to draw? And I'm like, well, Maybe I think there's going to be a popular zombie in episode 14, so you never know.
So the two that you drew, that you were mentioning that were, recognizable from the cast are Sophia and Shane. And It was obvious to me. I mean, it looks to me like you're one of those artists that can really capture, a person. So you did a great job. The other one was Bicycle Girl. One thing I was wondering, because I haven't had a chance to look real closely at the posters yet, but I remember last year you put some kind of Easter egg details in all of them. Did you do that again this time?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. With Shane, there's 3 hidden objects. Sophia's 2. And Bicycle Girl only has 1 because I can only think of 1 to hide. So we just the one obvious item, as you might think. But yeah, that's always fun to do, and that's it gives the fans something to look for.
All right, cool. Well, we're gonna have a contest for you people listening. So Danny's been generous enough to give away a full set of these, and we're gonna do.
You guys are getting a set too. You guys are getting a set too.
Awesome.
We love you, Danny.
I got a spot for it right here. Awesome. Thank you, man. Yeah. And so we're gonna do our traditional annual zombie sound contest. So anybody who wants to try and win a set of these. And it's a limited edition run. I think you said it was 300, but only about 200 are going out to the general public. So they're kind of rare.
There's 300 of Shane and 400 of the Bicycle Girl and 400 of Sophia. But yeah, a lot of them are. Okay. People are. Not all of them are going to be available to the general public because we have a lot of greedy people out there that
like us. So if you want to try and win one, send in your most gruesomest, creepy zombie sound. You can send us an audio file to brains@walkingdeadcast.com or call it in to 650-485-DEAD. That's 650-485-3323, right?
Yeah.
Do that before January 31st. That's my arbitrary deadline. But if you don't want to risk not winning and you just want to get yourself a set, where do you go, Danny?
You go to 20eyesco.com, which is 20eyesco.com.
Cool.
And we just released them today, and the Shane prints have already sold out.
So. Whoa! Oh my god! Cool. That's awesome. Okay, let's move on.
Attention, shoppers! Deadcast Top 5 in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Okay, it's Deadcast Top 5.
Is that sound effect new? The sound effect at the end new?
No. We've had that zombie around here for a while.
Yeah.
Chained up in the basement.
Is that the RJ zombie?
No, that's the Jason zombie.
That's the Jason zombie. Nicely done.
So this week, top 5 highlights for season 3, episode 8, mid-season finale called Made to Suffer. So what'd you guys think in general?
Well, for me, we always, just so you know, Danny, we always rank the episode
from 1 to 5.
From 1 to 5, and I use brains. Jason uses Gax. For me, this was a 4.75 out of 5 brains. I felt like it was a great episode. Lots of action and lots of stuff with a great cliffhanger at the end. So I just loved it. How about you, Danny?
I'm going to give it 5 Daryl arrows. Try and change it up.
That's good.
That's a 5 for me. That was a really good episode.
Yeah. I thought it was awesome. I thought it was, action packed. Probably the most action packed episode we've had so far.
Absolutely.
Tense, suspenseful, dramatic, lots of tense confrontations that we've been waiting for. Michonne and the governor, Daryl and Merle. Stabby.
Yeah, it was great.
I give it it even had some humor in there. I gave it a 4.75 as well.
Nice.
I thought it was awesome. There are just a couple little niggling things I had with it, but just pretty negligible. Amazing episode.
Yeah.
So why don't we go ahead and do our top 5. Danny, since you're the guest of honor, you get to go first.
Okay, mine is really dorky, and I kind of had an inside tip on this one. And I don't know if you guys are fans of the movie Jaws.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Remember the scene where Hooper goes down to the hull of the ship where Ben Gardner's boat is and the head comes out? In one of the aquariums, his head was in there.
Oh.
That's
okay. That's awesome.
Awesome. So That is amazing. So this was a guy's head.
Yeah, Ben Gardner from the movie Jaws.
Nice.
So all you like, Greg's a big Jaws fan, and we both nerded out at that moment. I was like, that is too cool.
I wonder, I guess they must have had to remake that prop, right? It wasn't just an old 1970s prop laying around.
That was Greg's wink to Jaws. Nice. And I thought that was awesome.
Very cool.
Man, that's why I love Greg Nicotero.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. He's like, he's a big nerd too. So that's what's cool.
And also just the nicest guy, I gotta say.
Yeah, it was just fun for me. I was like, there it is. Everybody's like, what the hell are you pointing at? I was like, never mind.
Zombie head. Go ahead, Karen.
My number 5 was Carl Mans Up. Carl gets to kind of be a badass. Unlike ever before, Carl just does so. I mean, they're screaming and Carl's like, hey, I'm going to go check it out. And Herschel's like, nah, I think you really should stay. And he's like, nope, it's what my dad would do. Goes off and kills a walker pretty nonchalantly, finds a new crowd and the Tyrese, the whole new crowd, and gets them to go with him. And also says, hey, I'll take care of killing this gal. I don't care. I've got a silencer on my gun.
I just killed my mother.
Right. What's this? This is nothing. And then, the guy's like, no, that's okay. We take care of our own. As he's like, cool. Steps away and locks them in there. And they've got food. They got water. They're fine.
And then Beth is like, shouldn't we help them? And Carl's all, I did.
Yeah. That was such like a 80s action movie one-liner right there.
Yeah. I like this too. I don't know if you remember, but a couple episodes ago, I was saying I was a little worried that it would be Wesley Crusher syndrome, where he saves the ship every week or whatever. But I think they're playing it really well, because when you think about it, Carl is growing up in the zombie apocalypse, and so this is his reality. And you learn best when you're a kid, so he's learning how to deal with things, and I like it. I like that he just seems to know what to do, and he's on it and stuff like that. I mean, I do hope, just like with Michonne, I want to see other facets of his personality, and he does. Occasionally he'll cry over something or whatever. I don't just want him to be a little badass all the time, but I am glad that this is how his character's shaping up. Sometimes I wonder if on this show they'll at some point skip ahead 10 or 15 years and just have it be about Carl as an adult,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You never know.
I think he's also got the whole what would my dad do thing. So that kind of helps him too, I think, as far as character-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's the son of a sheriff.
Yeah.
And he knows that Rick might not even come back, and if that's the case, then he's going to have to be in charge and take over, kind of.
Yeah. It's
funny too, because even with Axel, he's still around, but Carl's kind of the man of the house when Rick's gone.
No, Axel's just a perv.
Yeah.
I like him. I like Axel.
You like him just judging people by their haircuts?
that mustache is awesome, though. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
Handlebar. And I try not to mention the comic too much, but he says you follow me a lot, and so did Axel in the comic. People who read the comic kind of get a kick out of that.
Oh, that's great.
Okay, my turn. Number 5, Tyrese and crew. I'm stoked that they included Tyrese. He's a fan favorite from the comic. I was halfway wondering if, because Kirkman can be a sadistic kind of guy, that he would say, okay, we're going to introduce fan favorite Tyrese and then kill him off in the same episode. But they didn't do that. And I think he's a character with a lot of potential, and so I hope to see some of that realized. I do still miss T-Dog, though. And it does seem like they're cycling through the black characters. Every time one dies, a new one pops up, or vice versa.
Yes, it
which
does.
Is a little weird.
Yes. Yeah, poor Oscar.
But as far as his crew goes, the woman who got bit when they were running towards the jail, my first thought was chop off her arm.
That's what I thought. They don't know that trick.
They don't, but then they get to Carl and Herschel, and Carl's like, I'll shoot her in the head. And you'd think they'd want to go, oh, maybe we could try chopping her arm off. I mean, maybe they think it's been too long, but hey, it's worth a shot, So I was a little dubious of that, but otherwise, I thought everything they did with them was great. How they found the jail, and they found this area of the prison that wasn't fortified. It was an opening, and eagle-eyed listeners noticed that had been mentioned in the show before by some of the characters, and it was, they didn't harp on it, but it had been mentioned that the prison wasn't completely fortified, and that's why there were some non-prisoner zombies shambling around.
Right, exactly. And I also like the fact that when you first see it, you don't know that it's the prison because it's sort of the back area,
Yeah.
and then they pan back and you see that it's the prison. That's kind of badass.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, Danny, what's your number 4?
Mine would be Michonne using a zombie as a hostage.
That's a good way to put it.
Using the governor's zombie daughter as leverage to back off was awesome. I just, something about that image and that scene was just really cool, and how quickly the governor just was like, "Oh, okay, chill out," and seeing Michonne's face, like, really, like, I just thought that was a good scene, and it played out really well.
It did.
That was another reason why I like that scene, is because you got to see the governor be more vulnerable than usual, and you could tell he was really broken down about it. And then I guess Michonne, it looked to me like she saw that he really cared about her, and he's like, "Oh, something he really cares about, shunk."
Yeah.
Oh, and her katana through Penny's eye. Throat. That's right. Throat. It was right through her mouth. Mm-hmm. That was a great effect.
Although it didn't go through the brain, so Penny should have technically still been thrashing around.
There's brain.
But it could have got the brain stem though.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll take it.
And actually, that was my number 4 also. But more specifically, it was the fight scene with the governor that Michonne had. So she kills the daughter, and he just is unbelievably pissed off at her, and they have this great throwdown, and they're the zombie aquarium gets broken and her face goes into the zombie water, and I was like, zombie water, oh, it must be so yucky. And
that's one of those like Evil Dead 2 scenes where you're like, yes.
It's great. And then she puts gets a shiv basically and sticks the shiv in his eyeball.
She just hates him so much.
Yeah, she doesn't like him, I don't think.
Yep.
I don't see any romance happening anytime.
No.
So is that it for your number 4?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So my number 4 is just kind of in general, Daryl and Merle getting together finally. I liked that when Glenn and Daryl first, met together, the first thing Glenn did was say, Merle did this. Did I say that right? When Glenn and Daryl hooked up, he right away gave the information, because a lot of the critiques of TV shows is that the characters don't give enough information. In fact, people say Michonne doesn't, but Glenn did, and I thought that was really cool. He's like, Merle did that, he tortured us, and then Daryl got to sort of stress out about what the hell he was supposed to do, and it was great to see him and Rick kind of argue it out, and he had to this like struggle of loyalty that we've kind of been waiting for going on in Daryl's head. And then the scene where they finally ended up meeting together, I totally made up a story in my head that the governor wanted the two of them to fight it out just because they were in the arena. And then the second time I watched it through, I realized that wasn't in there at all. They were just like getting the crowd to scream, kill him. But it was such an intense scene, and those fuckers cut it off right there. Now we have to wait till February, but I can't wait to see what happens next.
Yeah.
That was a good cliffhanger.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, they had a lot of. I mean, there could have been almost. I feel like almost every episode could have been, the mid-season finale. But this was.
Do you read the comic, Danny?
I've read when it first came out. I read like the first 20 issues, but I kind of I haven't caught up or anything, so I like being in the dark.
Yeah, I know. I kind of wish I hadn't read it sometimes, but that's one thing that Kirkman's very good at that I'm glad the show's adopted, where every ending is sort of like a bit of a punch to the gut, or oh my god, what's going to happen next. So they've been doing a good job of capturing that in the show. All right, what's your number 3?
My number 3 would be the ghost, or I guess hallucination of Wolverine style Shane. But I thought that was awesome, man. It was cool to see Shane, and I don't know why I like that moment, but I just thought it was just like, hey, there's Shane. Oh shit!
and then Rick kills him for the second time.
Yeah, but I liked how he kind of had that Wolverine look going on with the hair.
He did.
I liked it too. I mean, I didn't like Shane as a person, but and I was almost ready for him to leave the show, even though I thought he added a lot of drama. But when I saw him last night, I had the same feeling. It's like, oh, it's good to see Shane, good to see John Bernthal.
It's like a friend.
Yeah. And I'm glad that John Bernthal, flew out to Georgia just to do that little 2-second clip. That's awesome.
But I'm wondering if we're going to get this like Dexter thing where like Rick is talking to Shane's ghost or using that as kind of like his, I don't know. But that was just weird and random, but it was cool. I enjoyed it. I thought that was cool.
I wondered that too. I know John Bernthal is pretty busy. So I doubt they would have him like be a recurring character that Rick talks to, maybe. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see Dale or, some of those other people.
Yeah.
Occasionally. Lori.
So is it, I think
it's your turn.
It's my turn?
Yeah.
Oh,
3.
okay.
Yep.
So the cliffhanger ending was actually my number 3 also. And one last little thing I wanted to add, since we already talked about it, really was that I'm thinking that maybe Andrea finally is figuring out what a nut job she's been sleeping with. And maybe now she's gonna, now she's seeing the evidence of the zombie daughter and the zombie aquarium. And she's, there's Daryl and Merle. She doesn't really care about Merle much, but she cares about
Yeah, because when they said, what do we do with Merle? She said, kill him too. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, I think the governor said exactly what I was thinking he might say that would make the most sense to explain the zombie heads was something like, I want to be prepared for what's out there.
Yeah.
And I could see Andrea buying that just like she's bought everything else. But telling everyone to kill Daryl, you got to think, if that doesn't push her over the edge, then it might not, though. I am not convinced that she'll go away from the governor even now.
I like that scene where she catches like him with all the zombie heads. It's like she had just like checked his history on his computer and saw all this like messed up porn he was looking at. She was just like, do you want to talk about this?
Right. It's exactly like that.
And she's figured out from the photo that she looks like his dead wife.
Yeah. I think she's starting to be like, she needs a girlfriend to talk to.
I think because of how she is, all this stuff is just making him even more attractive to her.
Yeah.
It's the crazy guys that get the babes.
Yeah.
Okay, is it my turn?
Yeah.
Okay, my number 3 is kind of in general the governor. So, like I said, I thought this episode was great for the governor because it had you feeling some sympathy for him, or at least it did me. Like the very first scene when he is playing this sad music for his daughter and she comes running out on the chain, but he's trying to have a moment, And I was just thinking, what if it was my little Nico on that chain? I'd be sad too,
totally.
And I might try to keep him around, probably not, but then the fish tanks, he says, made myself look at them, preparing me for the horrors outside. And even, okay, I don't agree with this, but the Mazzara in an interview explained what he was doing with Maggie, that he was using sexual intimidation as a way to get information. And as soon as he knew it wasn't going to work, because she's like, do whatever you want, he stopped. So I don't condone it, but it's not like he was a psycho rapist. He was just trying to get information that he thought would protect his people. I think his biggest flaw is that he sees anyone who's not in his little circle as a threat that should be eliminated right away. So he sees them as terrorists.
Like the National Guard.
Yes, like the National Guard. I mean, that's why I say it's a flaw that isn't inexcusable. But even like the prison, he doesn't even know who's in the prison, but his plan is just to kill them all and let the zombies go back in there, And I think that, I think it was Mazzara said that the governor is sort of like how Shane might be if his character was allowed to progress and he became the leader. And I thought, oh, that's pretty extreme. But after all this stuff we've seen with the governor, it is sort of like Shane. It's like, if you're not part of my crew, then you can die.
Well, let me ask you both. What do you guys think the screaming pits are?
I don't know. That came from when they were asking, Merle's like, what should we do with Glenn and Maggie? And he said, the longer they're around, the more chance Andrea's going to figure out. So take him to the screaming pits.
What are the screaming pits? Danny, do you know what the screaming
I think
pits
it's
are?
ice cream. Ice cream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream.
The closest thing I could think of to a pit is the pit a few episodes ago where they pulled all the zombies out in the big net.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then if you get thrown in there, you probably scream. But
Yeah.
it's like, you'd think they'd just, kill him and bury him
Yeah.
or something.
Screaming pits don't sound very very efficient, but maybe they're bait to lure the zombies because they
Yeah.
need more fresh zombies.
Yeah, all the time. Okay, number 2.
For me, I guess I like the whole Daryl and Rick kind of the way they team up together, and I liked how in this episode, again, Rick kind of had to ask Daryl, "Do you have my back? Like, I know you want to do this, and I know you want to do that, but do you have my back?" And the fact that Daryl said, "Yeah." I like how they've kind of built this partnership together where you feel like they're number 1 and number 2 in command, and I mean, I know it's going to get tested in the next episodes, but I just like that the way they team up together.
Yeah, me too. And that's one of the good things about it is that they do have this strong bond, so it'll be interesting to see it get tested and see what happens. But I wondered, how did Daryl, did he like sneak off, or I missed something there? How did he get separated?
There's a lot.
The firefight?
You know what? There was smoke bombs.
Yeah, it was in the firefight.
Okay.
Because he told them to go, and he was like, "I'll cover you."
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
Yeah.
and they were like,
that's
"No,
right.
let's stick together." And he was like, "Look, I got this." So
Right.
I don't know if he wanted to get caught, but
Yeah,
He
I
did.
think he probably went off and tried to find Merle or something.
Yeah, he's got to find Merle. It's his
he did make sure everybody got out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's why I like how he got all weary about Michonne when she disappeared, and then showed up at the end, and he's like, "What the hell? Where were you?"
Oh, he was so hard on her.
And that was a good scene too, because Michonne showed some different colors that I've been wanting to see. She actually was trying to convince Rick that she should be with him. And it seemed to me she wasn't necessarily begging for her life. She was just like, okay, maybe I should stick with this group, will you please have me kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And it pisses me off because actually she got them to Woodbury. She got them into Woodbury.
I know.
And, she brought them like a whole basket full of formula. I mean, she's done some good things.
What do I got to do?
What do I got to do, man? Yeah. But, it just sort of shows that that Rick is, not quite as himself these days.
One thing he did do, though, that I thought was pretty notable is as soon as Glenn saw Rick, he said, "I'm so sorry, we gave up the position, or we gave up that we were in prison." And Rick immediately said, "No need for any apologies.
Don't worry about it." Yeah. That was very nice.
That showed that he's still our compassionate hero,
Yeah.
Yes. Even if he is seeing hallucinations. Hallucinations.
I just saw Wolverine chain.
Right.
If only those claws would have come out, that would have just perfect.
So my number 2 is Maggie and Glenn this episode. They were great, and especially Glenn when he asks Maggie if she's okay, and and
He gave her his shirt.
and it was so nice when he did, didn't he?
Because the last episode she had
was
no shirt
topless.
on. Yeah.
And I love that what she says about all this time we've been afraid of walkers, and you forget what people do. Oh, and then
That was a good line.
but when he goes and he fashions a crude weapon out of the radius and ulna of the zombie, I thought that's
So
freaking brilliant.
romantic.
Yeah, so sweet and horrible. And then she shoves it in the Woodbury guy's
Right.
throat.
So
She didn't
what,
even think twice about doing that either. She was
She
hardcore.
did not. And then she hesitated shooting Merle. I'm like, shoot him,
a
babe.
lot of the listeners were complaining about that, and the only thing I can think is Merle had his big knife right up against Glenn's throat, and she said, "Let him go." And maybe she was afraid if she shot him, he would jab it right in there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because you're right. She just finished killing a guy, so she had no reason not to shoot Merle except for that.
Yeah.
But I wondered about that zombie bone. Like, it made me think, what if you took like a zombie hand and just took the fingernails off and made a little glove for yourself, and then you started scratching people, would they all turn into zombies?
Ooh. That's a messed up weapon.
You gotta try that.
That is a messed up weapon.
That's a weapon for Merle or somebody like that. Okay, my turn?
Yeah.
My number 2 is just, I've said this before, but whenever there's a scenario where you have just a small group of people going into like enemy territory, and it was so tense. I mean, it was almost too tense for me. I was like, oh my God, there's so much danger, like, oh my God. But it always reminds me of Star Wars and the Death Star. Like, they're going into that. They're going to die. It's stressful. I was constantly scared for them. I liked that Glenn could barely get around. He kept falling over. That was realistic because he'd just been tortured.
They don't even have the Force.
I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad they didn't. Just ignore that.
Yes.
I wondered where they got all the smoke bombs and the heavy artillery, because they'd already said that the prison armory had been picked clean. Maybe that didn't include smoke bombs. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the smoke bombs weren't for zombies though.
No, they're not. They were
but
definitely.
just where'd they get them though?
Maybe you can craft them pretty easly.
No, I'm thinking that they probably weren't thinking those as weapons at first for zombies, but against people. So that's probably maybe what they were saying when the armory had been picked clean.
Got it. Yeah. And then the one thing that I also thought was very Star Wars like, it reminded me of R2 and C-3PO just kind of strolling through this hallway as a laser blast fire all around them, because there was so much gunfire and not very many people getting shot. It started to get a little conspicuous, but I just loved that scene. Loved it. So that's my number 2.
I think
Now we
it's
go to
Danny.
Danny.
What's your number 1, brother?
I was just to say the very end, just the kind of the way the episode ended, and just having Daryl and his brother looking at each other, and the setup for the rest of the season. I mean, that was it. That was a cool moment, and made me smile and wish it was February already.
Totally.
Now we have to wait.
Let's skip Christmas.
Yeah. A lot of our listeners said the same thing on Facebook. When is it going to be February?
Well, my number 1 was actually the governor and the daughter. It was their moment together, but it wasn't because I thought it was sweet, although it was kind of sweet, and it was sort of like a typical little father-daughter thing. I mean, he sings her that creepy little nursery rhyme. That nursery rhyme was in a book that I had read years ago, and one of the lines is, I'm going to get a rabbit skin to wrap my little baby in, and it's creepy. And I like the fact that you think she sort of responds, and for a minute she's looking at him kind of like, oh, and no, she's just jonesing for the entrails that are in a bowl right next to her. And it pisses him off. He's like, look at me, and sends her back into her little cave.
Why won't you love me?
Because I'm jonesing for the entrails, Dad.
Michonne kind of had a little moment with her too before she realized.
Yeah.
You'd think the would be a clue, but
and maybe you shouldn't unchain her. Maybe you want to take the bag off the head first.
But she was in a nice, clean little outfit, so
Yeah, she thought the governor was just some sick bastard holding a live little girl there. I'm sure.
But no, he's just a sick bastard that has a dead little girl.
An undead little girl.
Okay. My number 1 is just this whole concept of us versus them. I realized that little phrase kind of boils down a lot of the conflict in The Walking Dead, and it has pretty much since the beginning. Like, we had Rick and Herschel kind of at odds, they're people, and then they sort of became an us together. But then there was Rick and Herschel's people versus Randall's group. And because they didn't know very much about them, they were other and they were dangerous for sure, And now it's the governor's people and Rick's people. But, if you're a citizen of Woodbury, Rick is some crazy bastard running through your town, shooting up all your soldiers that keep you safe.
Yeah.
So I like that they have this us versus them. And I like that they don't necessarily treat it as black and white. Even though the governor is a twisted bastard, they still try to give him some humanity and some relatability and stuff like that. So I like that. I was wondering, this is sort of only a little bit related, but why do you guys think the governor turned on Merle?
Oh, I know exactly why he turned on Merle. Because Merle told him that he had killed Michonne, and he lied.
Okay.
And so the governor was attacked by the very person that Merle claimed that he had killed.
Oh, yeah,
and
totally.
and he's like, I'd be suspicious too. You told me you killed that chick, and she is very much alive, and just put a shiv through my eye.
Yep.
That's good. No, I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it is kind of, Merle brought Maggie and Glenn back there, and that's kind of what brought everybody else there. So it's like 2 strikes and you're out.
Right. Oh, we found your brother too, mysteriously at the same time, and you're all working together.
Plus, I think the whole gambit of getting the crowd all riled up, and he had that whole speech. Actually, I have it here. Let's see.
I should tell you that we'll be okay. That we're safe. And tomorrow we'll bury our dead and endure, but I won't. Because I can't. Because I'm afraid. That's right. I'm afraid of terrorists who want what we have. Want to destroy us.
So that's just sort of very post 9/11-ish / 1984-ish, you get the populace riled up about this outside fear, which may be kind of true, but still he's using it to his own advantage. And then he's focusing it on Merle as a scapegoat, all of their fear and anger and everything,
Absolutely.
So talented leader, I guess.
So evil.
Yeah, so evil. So I had a couple other notes. Let me see. When I'm sad Oscar had to go. I guess if no one on our side died, then it would seem pretty uneven because the governor got his eye all fucked up and some other people died.
Yeah, it's just too bad that the minute another African-American man comes on the scene, the other one has to die.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know. I think it's just a coincidence, but it's kind of crazy.
One at a time, people.
When the governor was like giving orders, when he knew the town had been infiltrated, and he told Andrea to go door to door and check on people, and she started complaining. I knew he was probably doing that just to keep her as far from the action as he could so she wouldn't see their people. But still, it was a reasonable thing to ask. And I felt like saying, just shut up and go do what he says. That's what I felt like. Like, don't try to take this moment as a chance to prove your marksmanship or whatever.
I thought for sure they were setting up her finding Rick's gang.
Well, but the point was that he was trying to keep her from finding him.
Yeah. I thought that's what was going to happen, but I was wrong.
Too bad.
I have a question. I don't understand why everybody is so shocked that they cleared out the prison.
Oh,
have you noticed that? Like every time they're like, they cleared out the prison.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the most masterful plan that they came up with.
You're right. They just like shut some gates behind them as they killed the slow moving zombies. It's not that hard.
I guess
they were so surprised. Like everybody was surprised. Like, you cleared out the prison? How'd you do that?
But when they did it, I agree with you. But just devil's advocate, when they did it, they were sort of in among the zombies, and they were kind of surrounded, and they pretty deftly, just gave headshot after headshot. I guess they're trying to say that they've built up a lot of zombie killing skill over the winter, maybe.
Now they're badasses.
Yeah. I agree. I think that's sort of a problem with the zombie genre in general, that they're so slow. You'd think that people would be able to outrun them and stuff. You just kind of have to accept that.
There's so many of them.
I think Rick seeing Shane was a sign that he's still a little bit crazy. we kind of already talked about that, but he sees dead people, and I like that they're still continuing on with that. I like that Maggie shot Oscar in the head to finish him off. Did you know?
Yeah, it was a little mercy,
a good girl.
mercy re-killing.
Yeah.
Double tap.
And then
Precisely. And by the way, what do you think is the zombie kill of the week, Danny?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I'm thinking.
I don't know. I think Glenn pulling that arm off of the zombie. I mean, even though the zombie was already dead, that was pretty gross.
That was really gross. I also have to give kudos to the introduction. The Tyrese group. They had some good zombie killing in the woods.
They did. Yeah.
And good looking too. Like those zombies looked awesome.
As my husband has said before, there was lots of cleavage.
Oh, and one last thing. We learned kind of a new facet of Axel's character this week. Here's a little clip.
How old are you anyway?
17.
17. Interesting.
So you're not a lesbian. My, that's interesting.
So does that make you think maybe I might be a little closer to getting my Heineken?
You have not earned your beer yet, sir. We'll see.
We'll see.
I like that. He's harmless, and I like him. He's just that lovable idiot on the show now. So
See? Danny is on my side. Lovable
I
idiot.
Totally agree with you guys, except I think he's a maniac killer. But otherwise... okay, so is that it? Does you guys, either one of you want to say anything else about the episode?
That's it.
yeah, I'm good.
All right, let's move on to some news about The Walking Dead. So a while back, I said I thought the song that Emily Kinney and Lauren Cohan did together was a remake of a Waylon Jennings country song.
Yes, you
As
did.
I was saying that, I was thinking, that's not a country song. I'm wrong right now as it was coming out of my mouth. And it's true. It's an old Irish/Scottish song from the 1770s that was recently covered by an all-female group called the Wailing Jennies. So you
were
see
close. You were very
in my
close.
defense, that name is actually an intentional pun on Waylon Jennings, but still, I was wrong. So just so you know, I just finished the Telltale Walking Dead game that I've been raving about this whole time.
And?
I freaking love this game. It's really depressing, but it's awesome. And the only bad thing about it is since it was so successful, they decided they're going to do a season 2. So it didn't quite wrap up as neatly as you might like, you know, but it's just so good. And any fan of The Walking Dead, you're going to love this game. It's fraught with tension and emotion, and it's a lot of fun to play and good zombie stuff in there. So good stuff.
Danny, do you play video games, and have you played this one?
I've been sober off video games for about 5 years. I can't play video games anymore. They're way too addictive.
Well,
I played Nintendo, but yeah, I've been playing any video games lately. I've been too busy with artwork.
not Jason.
Not me. Hey, I have to talk about it on the podcast. Okay, next, Chandler Riggs, little Carl, is going to co-star in a Stephen King movie called Mercy. It's a fantasy horror story with where two brothers and their single mom take care of their grandmother, and they learn that their grandmother named Mercy is a witch who has long ago made a pact with dark forces. So he's going to be known for being in creepy, scary stuff, maybe.
Good.
Cool.
It's a nice genre to be known for.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
This next one is an interview with Andrew Lincoln from Entertainment Weekly. I just picked a couple of questions that I thought were particularly interesting. So they ask, so you finally got to pay a visit to Woodbury 90210. What'd you think of the place? He says, I hate it there. I just can't bear it. It's so funny because every time Norman and I have to shoot there, we just go, I hate it. I love the prison. I love the dirt. I love the fact that we never clean up. I don't know. There's just something not right about that place. It was great shooting the hell out of it. We took it to them. There weren't as many of us, but we took the battle directly to them. But it was weird because David and I, the governor, we still haven't quite met yet this season. he's been texting me all the time when I'm not there, just saying certain things. And that's all we've been doing is just texting derogatory things like, get out of my prison, leave my friends alone, get your creepy British hands off one of my friends. It's that kind of stuff going on. So it's good fun.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Good.
They ask, of course, the biggest shock of all may have been the return of John Bernthal as Shane, or at least Rick's hallucination of Shane. What was it like having John back in the mix? He says, man, it was always a joy to have him. He's a great, great man and a great talent, and I love him. He's my brother, and it was so strange seeing him there, and yet so familiar. And it was very moving. He came back and was on his way to doing the Scorsese movie, The Wolf of Wall Street. I could see him, and he was being very respectful and standing back and letting us do our thing and not interfering and just watching. And I could see him itching to go. So I said, John, I need to run lines for this. And he came on set, and he wasn't supposed to be working that night, but suddenly he just said, right, I'm coming back. I can't not work. So he got changed, and we started acting the scene. He was only supposed to shoot the day afterwards, and it was weird because Laurie Holden said to him, what's it like? You're just living the dream. You get to go work with Scorsese. And he said, this is the dream here. This is the greatest atmosphere I've ever been involved in on any set. And Sarah Wayne Kelly said the same thing. He says, this is the third time I've killed John. Well, it's actually the second time, but I like to think the other one as a family killing via my son. Only in this crazy job can I still keep bringing people back from